And we get a lot of questions for a number of years about carbohydrates in horses' diets. And it gets to be a lot of concern for folks, and people get really worried about sugars and starches in the horse's diet. And rightfully so. There are some horses that have specific disease conditions, like Cushing's or equine metabolic syndrome, that have a sensitivity to carbohydrates, starch, and sugar in their diet that can be detrimental to their condition. So people should be concerned about it if you have horses with those disease-type conditions. However, for most horses, sugars and starches are a very adequate and a good, readily available source of calories. And as long as you're not feeding them in excess and following recommended amounts of feeding, there shouldn't be any problem, particularly for horses that are not obese and that are working for a living. Now, another issue about starches and sugars are with horses that are obese. And feeding excess amounts of starches and sugars to horses that are obese can also be detrimental to their health as it relates to some level of insulin resistance. So when you're looking at carbohydrates, specifically starches and sugars, you really want to be concerned when you've got a Cushing's horse or an equine metabolic syndrome horse, or even the obese horse is something that you want to avoid high starch and sugars in the diet. For the rest of those horses that are out there working for a living and that are not obese, a grain-based diet is not a bad thing at all.